the Ghoulsaw was obtained from an event, but is now in the dojo. And the research requirements are super minimal. Anyone who's played for a while can get this done super fast. However, after research, building the Ghoulsaw is very different. Since it came from an event on the plains of Eidolon, it requires materials from there. Only 4 though. Shrek teeth, Corporite alloy, Grok jewel, and Kuwaka spinal claws. Shrek teeth being the hardest to get, and the rest being common materials. Honestly, it is S tier. Super easy to get and make, just gotta wait 3 days plus another day for the research and build times. The Ghoulsaw, however, is infamous for being bad, because it is a fun joke weapon. You basically just lift up a table saw and run around with it. Its damage is kind of whatever, it has low crit, but a pretty decent status. I'll go more into it in the next video because there's a Kuva variant, and the next video contains that Kuva variant. I will say that the stance mod is the only stance mod you can have on it, and I wish it was better, because if it was better, I think the Ghoulsaw would be a lot better, and I wish if you had the Ghoulsaw stance mod equipped, doing the part where you hold forward and E, where it just revs and it's just a saw that you can hold out. I wish that was faster, because then it would, you know, make it a little bit more unique and a little bit niche. Like if you just wanted to apply a bunch of statuses like really fast, that's what it'd be used for. But it's not, and it kind of sucks. Still, the Ghoulsaw is a fun, bad weapon. It's an F to D tier. D tier only because it's fun to watch your Warframe hold up a table saw and walk forward. The final weapon of the Jade mission. We're finally done. This is one of the first drops I got on the mission, and we can finally talk about it, roughly 2 years later. You know the mission by now. Defend a point to then transport a thing onto an elevator, go up that elevator by throwing jade motes onto it. You can make it go faster with more powerful motes. Fight an optional sister and escort the capsule to get more currency. Harmony drops at a 4.63% drop chance. The materials to build it are super easy and common. You can also pity it at Ortis at the Drifters camp for 300 of the pity currency. Can't remember if it was vestigial or the other mote currently. It is obtained in quantities of 11 to 13 or 16 to 18 on Steel Path. It's an alright drop, it's super easy to build. I got it super easy, but I'll put it in the same tier as the Canter, so B to A tier. It's not going in the same tier as the Canter for potential, however, because I think the Harmony is a bit ridiculous. Normally, I don't go to the Simulacrum, but I was confused at the passive at first, only to find out it's basically entirely built around it. Its base stats are really good. Good attack speed, crit, and status. Now the passive. Enemies hit by your heavy attack receive the full amount of every accumulated dot status effect inflicted upon them instantaneously. So you basically only build around that. That's why I'm in the Simulacrum, because I tested a few things. A general build, a more status focused build, and a build that I found while looking up stuff about the Harmony to see what other people thought about it. Because I didn't know what to think about it for a little bit. But I obviously didn't have all the mods for this, or Forma, or Open Catalyst, which has always been a disclaimer for these videos, so always take that. But I also learned that Scythe heavy attacks force proc slash. So there's a bunch of things in statuses I think you can do with this, including the fact that it already hits hard, especially with heavy attacks. And I saw melee affliction and influence was talked about a lot with this thing. So I think this thing is kind of nuts, and it goes into S tier. With the little that I use in Simulacrum, it was hitting pretty hard even without a full status focused build that I can't do. I don't even have the mods for it, but I'm pretty sure it would go extremely hard. Oh boy, the Hespar. This thing kinda sucks. Main reason, each part drops from 3 separate locations. The handle from Void Cascade, the blade from Void Armageddon, and the blueprint from the level 90 to 95 Zariman bounties. The bounty has the highest drop chance of the 3, 12.99%, and honestly, it's probably the easiest depending on the bounty itself. Could be Exterminate, could be Void Cascade. Speaking of Void Cascade, the handle drops at a 10% chance, which is still pretty high, but it shares the same drop chance with the Aelak Barrel, which we talked about 2 years ago. The lenses are at 16% each. The mission itself runs on an AABC reward rotation, and it's defending 4 exilizers per round, which can take about 4 to 5 minutes depending on what you do, so around 20 minutes per drop. Thankfully, I didn't have to farm for either of the aforementioned pieces, just the blade in Void Armageddon. The drop chances are the exact same, but the mission, not so much. In Void Armageddon, you defend 3 things. The main progressor is defending either A or B of the game's choosing. You'll only have to defend the main one extremely rarely. So you activate the Exodamper to send a wave early, defeat the enemies. You can get lucky and get a very small wave that is like one group of enemies and then you're done defending it, or you can get very unlucky and have a wave of enemies, another one, and maybe some stragglers. Then you could also get the game to defend the same Exodamper twice so that you don't have to move and automatically start the next round. But at the end, you have to fight a ravenous Void Angel, and honestly, it's fine. It's just a regular, faster Void Angel. During the mission, you can get Argosine to put up little turrets and whatnot. I like the idea, but it's literally more effective to just bring a nuke frame and not even waste any amount of time setting up. All in all, it takes about 15 to 18 minutes per C rotation, and since this was the only part I had to farm, what did I get? 6 Unairu lenses, 5 Gale Force Dawns, 3 Nariman lenses, 2 Zenruic lenses, 1 Vazaran and 1 Madurai lens, and finally 1 Hespar blade blueprint. In total, taking 4 hours, 51 minutes, 53 seconds. The materials to make each of the parts is extremely easy to get to. Quills are one of the easiest void plumes to get. The other materials are literally straight from the Zariman with playing it. This thing gets a big old D to maybe C tier. It can be pretty boring and pretty bad. And the farm doesn't really justify its potential either, because unlike the Harmony that we just talked about, this thing is kind of whatever. It's a heavy scythe that is just okay. It has 24 crit, 2.2 multiplier, and 28 status, normal speed, and okay damage. In the stats, the heavy attack apparently gets times 3 damage, but it never felt like that. A heavy attack focus build, aka with Tennokai, might be the way, and for that purpose of the times 3 damage. But it also is kind of whatever, just a normal scythe. Sucks to farm, is okay, and I'd put it in C tier. The Innodem gets S tier. It's super easy. All you need is rank 1 with the Zariman, go to Cavaliero, pick it up for 5,500 standing, and the materials are also super easy. Void Plume Quills, which are in abundance in the Zariman, bounties, and the mission with the Cephalon, Ravenous Void Angels, and you can buy one from Archimedean Yanta. Void Plume Pinions are from the Void Angels and Archimedean Yanta. Thrax Plasms are from the Thrax, and Entrati Lanthorns you get from various locations and drops. Again, S tier for me. It's a super easy thing to pick up. The Innodem might also go into S tier for potential too. In general, it's a good dagger. A bit slow to attack with its 0.7 attack speed and okay stats, but you can rectify that easily with the stances it takes and one mod. Its stats are 22 crit and status with a 2.0 crit multiplier. Now, it is an incarnate weapon, and I say most if not all of them go into S tier automatically because they just break the game in general. But with this melee incarnate, it's kind of just going to happen naturally anyway. When you get to 5 times on the combo multiplier and you heavy attack, it activates the incarnate mode for 90 seconds, where it gets more range and attacks faster. The gimmick though to me is really bad. You aim glide and throw out radiation projectiles that do no damage and don't contribute to the combo counter. So boo on that one. But the buffs from the incarnate mode in general are really great. I'll put some of them on the screen so that I don't have to talk about every single one of them, but to me, using a Tennokai build that makes heavy attacks spammable seems pretty great for it. The next thing is finishers. It has some finisher buffs and a passive where you get up to 40% damage reduction for finishers while the incarnate mode is active, which that's cool and all, but I don't care about finishers that much, but I'm not neglecting it either. All in all, it's pretty good. I'm gonna say S tier. I really like it. You obtain the Korrudo from Thumpers on the plains of Eidolon. Thumper Bowls drop it at a 5% chance, and Thumper Domas drop it at a 10% chance. So, just choose the Narmer Bounty, and it'll spawn within the first 2 minutes consistently. I waited around this area for it to spawn each time, and it worked. Each time. I also got it fairly quickly, like 16 minutes, 3 tries. It only took so long because I scoured the map in free roam at first before just picking the bounty after I remembered what a viewer told me to do. It's not hard to defeat the Thumpers either, and a 10% chance is quite generous all things considered. Building it is also easy. The only thing that really requires a bit of farm would be the Oroxium alloy, but the Thumpers drop a lot of plains resources when killed, so if you farmed for a while, there's a good chance you'll have a decent chunk of them already, or maybe way more than you need. And if you don't, go mining for a while, and honestly, it might be a while. Still, because of that little hiccup, it's not S tier, but it's not B, maybe not C. I'd go A tier. I wish I could put the Korrudo in A to S tier too, because it's a crit focused weapon, but there's just better melee weapons. Not only have we talked about them, but ones that aren't even on the list or going to be on the list. Because not only do they generally have the same amount of crit, if not more, they also have way more status. So the Korrudo stats are a 31 crit, 2.5 multiplier, and 9 status chance. A very good disposition, and since it's a sparring weapon, it has a very short range, but you do move faster. I like it, but there's just better things. Like the Sorrowfang Prime has just way better stats, and the Korrudo exists, which is also a sparring weapon, with a passive. The Korrudo doesn't have a gimmick besides high crit, so it's just a high crit sparring weapon, but in general, it works and is fine. I'd say B tier. I don't have a lot to say for this outro, to be honest, just that the counter went up from 3145 to, I think, 3235 because of the adding 90. Actually, I need to add 15 more, so it's actually 3250. Regardless, the next video is going to be the Korum, Kuva Ghoulsaw, Kuva Shieldegg, Nefiri, and the Okina. Other than that, if you watched this far, thank you so much. And as always, take care of yourself.